in the Force.
Welcome back to WD Magicast for the week of April 16th, 2023. This is episode 222. WD Magicast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. In this week's show, Dave Gallman and I sit down and review some of the announcements that were made at Star Wars Celebration, and then give our Overdue review of Jedi Fallen Order, the PlayStation game. Actually, video game. It's on more than just the PlayStation, isn't it? The video game that's rocking the Star Wars nation and has a sequel coming out shortly. We'll be back after these words from our friends and sponsors.
Hello there, WD Magicast friends. This is Anthony King, the host of the podcast Force Ghost Conversations. This podcast is your home for cozy deep dives into all things Star Wars, including the latest news, movies, TV shows, video games, books, and everything else in a galaxy far, far away. We can be found on every major podcast platform. Just search for Force Ghost Conversations. This is the way to your next Star Wars podcast, and may the Force be with you.
This past weekend was a holiday for many people. And if it wasn't a holiday, it was a special day for other people celebrating Star Wars. But it's not May the 4th. So why are we celebrating Star Wars? Because Star Wars Celebration was taking place in London. Yes. Celebration 2023 happened in jolly old England in London, taking place with many of announcements to happen. And because many other people have talked about it, we want to talk about it too. And since many other people have talked about it, we're also going to tell you about Jedi Fallen Order. And like a hidden Jedi himself, Dave Gallman is here to help us dissect the news. And since he's finally played the game after it came out 2 years ago, or maybe 3, I forget, to tell us his experience and thoughts on Fallen Order, and I'll put in my input too, because I have played it. So, Dave, welcome back. How's everything? How's the beer?
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for having me. The beer is good, cold. Jedi Order, Fallen Order was fantastic, and we got some good news. No, spoiler, no. And we got some good info out of the convention, so we got a lot to talk about.
Yes, let's start there.
Okay.
So, I guess let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Out of the plethora of information that was gifted to us from the lovely people at Lucas, what's the one thing that hits you the most that you just go, all right?
Of stuff that we didn't know that was coming out.
Even if it did, it just, whatever.
Well, the Ahsoka trailer, that obviously hit home because we got a little bit more detail of what was coming from that, or how it's going to look production-wise and whatnot. The Dave Filoni film was the big announcement that I was thankful for, because I'm pretty sure that we speculated on this show that it was all these like series that they have, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, it was all going to lead to one Mandoverse film anyway. And I guess this is, confirmation that that's going to happen.
Right.
So those were the two big ones for me.
Yeah, when I heard that Filoni was going to finally direct his own movie, like it's about time.
Exactly.
About time that Filoni gets gifted a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see what he does. Now he's taking the baby steps. He went from assisting in animation to directing and show running in animation to now getting live action. Now he's taking the big step into a full 2.5 hour movie. So,
right.
But you figure, he can do a 45-minute show or an hour-long show. So to do a movie, I mean, it's twice as long. It's not the same creature. You really can't compare them. But as I always say, in Filoni, we trust.
Yes, the only thing is we have to be patient because from what I'm hearing, I think it's going to be a ways away because he has to, finish up the Mandalorian, finish up Ahsoka, to lead everything into this movie. So we're going to have to be patient for the movie. You know what I mean?
Well, out of the 3 movies that they announced, none of them do we have a time frame for.
A time frame, right? We know when they're going to be set. We just don't know, the release dates on them at all.
I'm going to speculate, which I know is a dangerous thing, but I'm going to say that the one by Charmin, I don't know, never mind. Chinoy is going to be the first one out, and the only reason why I say that is because you already have a talent associated, being that Daisy Ridley is coming back, returning as Rey. And that's the one we also got really the most information out of. It was the most solid. So that's why I'm thinking that's going to be the first one out of the gate.
That's greenlit. Yeah.
Yeah. You already have talent associated.
Yeah.
Nothing else you did. Yeah.
And apparently it's going to be her trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. So
right.
It could be interesting. Look, I was down on the sequel trilogy, but I'll give it a shot, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but we're already getting more information about the sequel trilogy as as things are moving along. So they're flushing that out, which I said someone might have said that might have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder who that was.
And then we also have James Mangold, the director of the upcoming Indiana Jones film and the Dial of Destiny. Which is going to be a quote-unquote biblical style of Star Wars about the early days of the Force, kind of how some of the first Force users came about and how it was discovered and the dark days.
It was interesting because it says it's going to be depict upon like the first Jedi to ever wield the Force. So I mean that cued my interest. So we'll see.
It's early on any of that, but I like the direction that they're putting it. You kind of getting a smattering of everything, smattering of the series. You're getting a smattering of following up from the Skywalker films, and something completely different.
Yeah. They're not all set in the same time zone. Time frame. We're got a beginning. We're one after the sequel, and we got the one that's kind of before the sequel. So we're which is good.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool things going on here. I'm liking that. I'm liking that, and that's again something that I think the limited series on Disney Plus has really helped bring fruition to. That we are spreading out beyond the films.
Yes.
As far as things going on in the universe taking place in different places, different times that we're not familiar with. I mean, The Mandalorian itself was the first, really kicked that off. So naturally now it's progressing. Now that Star Wars has kind of had a resurgence and a renaissance, it's time to get back to the movies.
Yeah, but and it's also smart that none of them they're not committing to not everything has to be a trilogy. So I mean, it's just release them, see how they do. If they warrant a sequel, then revisit that down the road. Just get that one impactful movie and let's go. So
focus on the one, not trying to spread it over 3.
Right.
they're going at it in a smart direction here.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned Ahsoka. We got a first trailer, or a first released publicly trailer, because there was one last year.
Right.
That you only got to see in person here. You outside of the convention center, you didn't get to see it. I think that was D23 or Celebration last year. I forget which one it was. But yeah, so we got Ahsoka. We finally get to see the trailer. We get a teaser poster, and we get a month. Not a date, but we did get a month. August 2023.
Yep.
It's coming fast, and I can't wait.
Yeah, they you got everybody like a real quick glimpse of the Rebels crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So outside of Kanan, you didn't see him. So, but isn't I don't know. I don't remember if he's dead or something from.
I think he's dead, isn't he?
That's what I think. It's been a while since I saw Rebels. So, but
I haven't finished watching it, and I know that's now going to be fast tracked for me.
Right.
But yeah, it's you got the crew, the band's getting back together. You got Hera, you had Sabine, obviously Ahsoka, Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Chopper.
Yeah. And we had another guy make a cameo on another show, so he's coming too.
Yep.
No spoilers.
Yeah, you got him, and then you had a guy walking into screen who's mentioned by name. Yes. So, but apparently, if you were there in this convention center, you got to see the front.
Really?
Yes.
Lucky.
Old Blue Eyes is back, or Red Eyes, I think technically.
Admiral Thrawn.
Yep. So that again looks really well done. Mm-hmm. I know even for Ahsoka, they took a step forward in the costuming. The Lakai are actually a little bit longer, and they're made with a different material, so it should actually work a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't wait.
Yeah, and with Ron, you got the guy who played him in Rebels, Lars Mikkelsen, is going to portray him. So that's awesome too.
I like that they've been where they can. They've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Where if they can pull the voice actor to portray the live action like they did with Bo-Katan,
right?
It makes it even of a smoother transition.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can't do that with everyone.
Right.
That's why Sabine, Hera, and Ahsoka aren't. Mm-hmm. But que sera, sera.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't think of those characters any less for that reason. Because, I mean, if anything, Rosario Dawson has proven that she can pull the character off.
Yeah, 100%. There's so much promise to this, man. I hope it's good. I really do.
Which is why I always go into it, especially whenever I get this excited for it, with kind of like bated breath a little bit. I tread lightly into it because I with other things, I've gone into things super excited and then come out going, no.
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Right.
But in this case, I'm very hopeful, but again, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
But what I have seen has been fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
And again, they're not going cheap. They're not holding back. They went full in, just like they did with the Mandalorian. So everything looks right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I'm interested to see the direction they go with Thrawn, because he's the next big baddie. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what direction they pull him on.
Mm-hmm. And Rosario said that if you enjoy it, maybe there's going to be more.
Mm-hmm.
So knock on wood.
Yeah.
Then we found out that Skeleton Crew is also coming out this year, 2023. Mm-hmm. That we did not get a month for, but if Ahsoka for its 8 episodes comes out in August, that puts us into the middle of September. I'm thinking Skeleton Crew will be probably November, December.
Yeah.
And that there was a trailer shown there, not released to the public. I may have been able to find a minute or so online. Again, looks good. Couldn't really tell you anything from it. It looks good. But that sounds promising.
Mm-hmm.
Then another one that I'm really excited for is Acolytes.
Yes.
So
yeah, because this is the one. It's they said it's basically focused on the dark side, and they're actually going to be the underdogs of the story. So if this is as like dark as I think it could be, this could be good.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, think of some of the glimpses that we got in, say, Kenobi, whenever with the Inquisitor staff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this is the, and also this is set in the Old Republic, right? I believe it's not current. It takes place.
Yeah, this is back in
Yeah.
This is back in the set in the High Republic era.
Yep, High Republic. Sorry.
And they're calling it Frozen meets Kill Bill.
The director said the pitch that she gave it was Frozen meets Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know how you put those together.
Me either.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Yeah. So we have Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Acolytes, and the first 4 episodes are done, and they actually again showed some.
Really?
And
at the celebrations? Oh.
Yeah. So and what I heard is that you get a lot of almost like a kung fu style action fighting. And it's crazy.
That would be the Kill Bill reference. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, okay, I'm okay with that.
And a Wookiee Jedi.
Yep. Forget about that. Yes. The first ever.
Actually, no, not the first ever.
Isn't that
first
what I
ever
saw?
live action.
First ever live action. That was it. Yes. Yes.
Because we had one in Rebels, right? And
yeah.
Because he also showed up in Bad Batch.
She had that little guy. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but yeah. So yeah, we not the first ever, but the first ever live action. So that's again cool, promising. Can't wait for that. So a lot of good stuff coming this year, within the next year. But again, no definitive time frame for Acolytes or Skeleton Crew other than the year that they will be coming out. Also, Andor season 2 is in production. They're expecting production to wrap up by August. So possibly next year.
Yeah, 2024 I saw on that for Andor.
So that's in action. That's going on. We found out that the last scene that they filmed of the series was the diving off at the jailbreak.
Really?
Yeah. If I heard that correctly.
I'm interested in that one because there's a lot. He didn't meet K2 yet and all that. There's so much more that we got to learn about that. I know a lot of people probably didn't like it, the slow moving aspects of it, but we've talked about it, man. That was a good show. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Other things that we've talked about that were announced, season 2. This is on the animation side. Season 2 of Tales of the Jedi.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Can't wait for that.
Love season 1. Cannot wait to see where season 2 takes us.
Yes.
As well. I don't think there was a date on that other than it is in production and coming.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3, which will be the final season of Bad Batch, coming next year.
Yes.
Yes, 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing around the same time frame. Which makes sense for the pacing.
Yes, they listened to me. I said 3 and final. End it, and they listened to me.
But if you think of the pacing of how they did at least the first 2 seasons,
right?
It actually makes sense that this would be 3 and done. It is a grand overall arc.
Right. Now I get it.
So we got that coming out. I'm going to miss them, but I'm glad to get one more dance with them.
Right. Exactly.
Star Wars Vision coming out. We got the trailer for it. Season 2 will be coming out May the 4th this year, so just a couple weeks away.
Could be some cool stuff in that too.
Yeah, I you know what? I watched some of the first season. I don't believe I finished watching all of them.
I'm in the same boat. I might have saw about 3 or 4 of them. And then
yeah. I have to get back to that.
Yeah, because from what I've seen of the 3 or 4, I enjoyed them. It was just...
I enjoyed most of them. Like there was 1 or 2 that I didn't do anything for me. But some of them I absolutely really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Then you got some parks news. New locations coming to Star Tours. They did not mention where, but they kind of implied that it was, we haven't seen all the places yet in person. Us, the viewers, haven't been introduced to all these places yet. So that is why we haven't. More walk-around characters are supposed to be coming to Galaxy's Edge. DJ Rex is getting a new playlist, which you could already hear on streaming services.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's cool.
And then, and here comes the transition. The final trailer for Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor, yes.
Was shown. Monahan was there in person, threw a poncho into the crowd, took a selfie with them, Cameron Monahan. So it looks great, looks absolutely beautiful. And I already have my copy on order, and
so do I.
Yeah.
But like you can see, it's not a spoiler because it's out there. It's in the trailer. Yeah. You can see you're gonna fight a Rancor, which I'm on board for. They had the droidicas, you know what I mean? Like he went up to attack those, so that's in there. Yeah. So there's some eye candy in that trailer, and
it looks as gritty and kind of dark. The first one was. This looks like it goes to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of the first one, so the first one being Jedi Fallen Order, released by EA, who has a track record of making wonderful games. What was the release date on this? I forget now. 2019. Yep.
2019. Oh, 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah, well, I only played it last year.
And
I
played it like 2 months ago.
So one of my friends said, "Oh, you should really check this game out." I'm like, "All right." At the time of its release, even now, there was 2 versions. There was the standard version, the deluxe version. The main difference with the deluxe version is you had some customizable objects available to you from the get-go, lightsaber colors, some costumes, and then you had like a digital artwork book that you can access. So that was really the extent of the gameplay. The same, everything in the game was same, nothing beyond that. No real alterations. So yeah, I know when I started playing with it, and you get the introduction, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. It doesn't, this doesn't seem like anything wonderful. And that's really as you're going through the tutorials. And now, as we were talking beforehand, some games take the tutorials too seriously and go on too long.
Right. This one does not.
No, this is one of those that is you're already starting to play part of the story as the tutorials are being given to you. Which I actually prefer it that way. And it works off great. You start off playing. If you look at the artwork, if you read the description of, let's see here, a galaxy spanning adventure awaits in the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a story-driven third-person action adventure title from Respawn Entertainment, and right on the back it says "Become a Jedi." So your main character is going to be a Jedi. If you didn't read that, like I didn't, you see this kid running around, like, okay, he's just a kid, and then you realize, no, he's a Jedi. I'm like, oh, okay. Takes place right after Order 66. He's a Padawan who is gone into hiding in a scrapyard.
Yeah.
He becomes a scrapper, dismantling a lot of the old Republic ships, the clone ships and stuff, which I found very interesting whenever they brought that into
was it Andor or Mando?
Yes,
It was in one of them. Yes.
Andor. Even Mando, there was some references to that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Mando, there was references to that in season 2. And to me, it was even more prominent in Andor because that's what that planet was.
Right.
So, you get those connections. This is the first video game that I'm aware of that they actually said is canonical. The events of, I guess, Jedi would be the appropriate title, are actually part of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the droid that is your buddy in this, BD-1, show up in Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
So you got stuff there.
And I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how the games go, down the road, if you have a Cal Kestis cameo on something. I don't know where he would come in, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him pop up.
No, we've been waiting for that. His lightsaber was available, or may still be available at Galaxy's Edge to purchase as a legacy lightsaber. It was one of the ones I didn't hold, but I was looking at it through the case when I was down there in November. Looks really cool, and it's one of the ones that if you buy 2, you can make it into a double saber.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Was it a single blade, or was it, like the Darth Maul double blade?
Well, just like you said, just like Darth Maul, because you have to buy them separately.
Oh, and then I got you. Okay.
And there's a linking piece that comes with them, and then you put them together, and boom, you have your double saber. But yeah, it's you also got the Inquisitors in this game, and so you get stories from some of the Inquisitors that you don't get from the in any of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nice addition. I think they're all sisters, right? I don't think any of the Brotherhood.
There was no, it was a second sister and a ninth sister. I think that there was only the 2, and then because you had
right.
Marin was the where are my notes? I'm drawing a blank here. Marin. She was because they're all sisters. No, the ninth sister. There you go.
Yeah,
ninth sister. She wasn't a part of them. Too many characters in the game. No.
Yeah, the ninth sister. And a night sister. 81. No, it doesn't tell us anybody else here. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So it's the story is fantastic because as you get into the game, you really get into a lot of the stuff that is going on. Mentions of Saul Guerrera in his fight. Yep. Mm-hmm. Happening in there. The graphics are beautiful and stunning. The gameplay is smooth. Being able to do stuff. It's one of those skill tree games, almost like a role playing, where as you go along, you build up points and you learn new abilities by spending those points. But there isn't an overload of abilities.
Yeah, no.
Where you're eventually going to have to not get something.
Yeah, and depending on how you play, all right, so if you just go straight through with the story, you're not going to fill the whole entire grid. Before you go to beat the game, if you go back and find everything, you'll beat enough enemies to earn enough stuff to fill the entire grid. So, and there's 3 sections to it. There's the lightsaber section, the survival section, and the fourth section. So obviously, the lightsaber would be focusing on your attacks and stuff. The survival's on, I guess, defense and, health and stuff. And then the force, getting your force stronger on certain abilities and stuff. So it's a nice simple, breakdown of the game. So I was glad that it wasn't too confusing to figure that out. It's very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those games where you have the current story and then they fill in the backstory as you go along.
Yeah.
And it's done in a way that it's a tutorial to tell you, okay, this is how you use the new move. But it's done in such a way that you don't realize it's a tutorial as you're playing it. It just feels like, okay, this is a natural part of the game.
Right, and that's when more of the skill tree will be broken up. Because, you'll be playing it and not the whole grid's not lit up. And then when you get to that section that you're talking about with his master, Jaro Topple, he'll do a little training section. And then when you complete that, more of the grid will open up. I think it's 3 times you got to do it. So it's cool. It's cool how they do it. I like the little flashbacks to learn the skills. It was well done.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, production value is great. One of my new favorite Star Wars characters got introduced in this game. I'm very curious to see where they take her in the upcoming game. Let's see, who is it? Trilla, right?
Trilla, no, she died.
No, okay.
So about Seer?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't show up till the very end of the game.
Who's Seer? No, she's the one that's with them the whole time on the ship with
No,
Grease.
it's not her. No, who's the chick at the end?
And you're talking about the Night Sister.
Yeah, the Night Sister.
Yeah, she played an integral part, man. I liked her. So when she joined on, I was like, that is awesome. I'm like, because I can't wait to see her in the next one to see where they go with. I'm with you. Where are we going with her character? Because she's cool.
I'm like, I didn't get enough of her. She's
yeah.
She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I am really looking forward to the next one. But Fallen Order itself, it took me a while, but I didn't feel burdened down when I was playing the game.
No, it depends on what you want to play it at. There's 4 different difficulties. There's a story mode, Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, or Jedi Grandmaster. So I played it at the the Jedi Knight, because I wanted to enjoy the game and not be frustrated by having too difficult of an enemy or something. And for me, that mode was perfect. It was challenging enough, but it wasn't like a breeze to get through it. You know what I mean? So it depends on your gameplay. If you like a harder thing, then crank that sucker up. But for me, I want a more easy, more casual playthrough on it.
Yeah, and I did a similar thing. I don't remember what mode I played it on, either story or the night. But it was just enough of a challenge for me. If you like more of a challenge and you really have time to dedicate to playing that, good for you and go right ahead. I don't. So but I want to enjoy the story, so that's where I went with it. I like how they take, you're not stagnant on one planet or 2 planets. You go to 4 or 5 planets.
It's 5, 6 total, but 5, because the one you're on for like a cup of coffee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but that's the thing too, is when you look at it, you're like, oh, there's only 5 planets. This is going to be a short game. Yeah, if you just blow through the story, you could probably do it in under 20 hours. You know what I mean? If you just gun right through it. But if you take the time to go back and if you're a 100%er, you could probably do it in about 25 to 30, depending on how fast you can find everything.
because some of the planets are the maps are actually quite extensive.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's a 3D map, so it's not a flat plane. There is many different levels and depths to some of these planets. The second one in particular, I believe it was that you go to. I think it had what? Yeah, Zepho had 5 or 6 levels to it. I mean, you just kept on going further down and further down.
Yeah.
And then when you're done with that part, you went further back.
If there was one critique, and I think everybody's on board with that, it was the maps, because that 3D map took a little time to get used to.
Yes.
What level am I on? It took a little adjustment time with that thing. But once you figured out what they were trying to do, the map was okay. It grew on you.
It takes a little bit. It takes a little figuring out, but eventually you kind of go, oh wait, I can't go this way. Oh, that's not the level I'm on, because the coloring is different, the shading's different. So, there is definitely a curve on that.
Yeah. For me, when I started playing, because I knew this game was out there, and I just didn't have the time to play it. And then I kept hearing you and another friend of ours, just hyping the game up and saying that it's canon and stuff. And I'm like, and I knew the Survivor was coming out, so I'm like, all right, let me dive into this to see what it's all about. And usually, when you're playing a game, it's either hit or miss, or like the story's good, but the gaming sequences are a little wonky or something. It's hard to get like a perfect game. I'm not saying this is perfect, but as I'm playing, a good
balance of everything.
Right, exactly. So now as I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, I can get used to him with this, Cal Kestis as a Jedi, and then the story. You just get sucked into the story, and you know what I mean? That was the driving focus point for me. It was an excellent story, man. That had a great ending.
Oh, the ending is fantastic, and we're not going to tell you about it.
Nope.
But I mean, it's good. They bring in the Brotherhood from Mustafar, and to see that whole thing, how that plays out, and finding some information about that. You go to Kazaz, the Wookiee homeworld.
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk, sorry. Too many letters.
Too many letters, yes.
for a species that always speaks.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get the jungles of there and kind of what's going on. You really get this, the feeling of the Empire spreading out its tentacles and affecting places.
Kashyyyk was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite planets to explore and play on.
And the way that they do the puzzling system, and you're able to use your force powers to help manipulate certain objects, and times out. Like sometimes you get to a point where the puzzle is there, but you can't solve it yet, and you go further into the game, you get the ability, you have to go back to that area and use your abilities to unlock more stuff, more story, add-ons, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say for the 100%ers out there. If you haven't played the game yet, you got to be patient with that, because you're not going to learn everything until maybe halfway through the game, and then you can do a turn around and try to learn, get everything back again. You know what I mean? Because you don't learn to double jump until you get to, what is it, Dathomir or something. So, which is basically almost towards the end of the game. So,
but even at that, you get Dathomir, not Mustafar. Sorry, thank you. Even at that, some of it you can't do until you finish the story mode, and then it allows you to go back and continue playing on a lot of these other places.
Right.
Which is what I ended up having to do. I didn't get 100%, but I think I'm at like 98. Like there's 2% somewhere, and I haven't found it.
I had YouTube with me, like searching stuff. Like if I couldn't find it, and I knew I was somewhere in that area, I was trying. I used YouTube to help me out.
I might have too.
Yeah.
I definitely I had to look stuff up. Again, I don't have time to sit there constantly and just try to figure these things out.
Yeah, but it's one of those games where it wasn't that difficult to get 100%. You know, if
No.
you put the little extra effort in, you could do it. Even with the trophies, the trophies I could care less about. But I was like, it's a Star Wars game. Let me try to 100% it, and they weren't that difficult.
No.
One of the coolest trophies was you had to free, like a stormtrooper shoots at you with their blaster. You have to freeze the bolt and then force pull them into their own blaster to kill, to take them out, and then you get the trophy for it. So I like that one was cool. It took time to perfect that, like to get it, but that was like one of the quirkier, cool ones,
Yeah, a lot of great little things on it. The stormtroopers are really cool. You have to swim. The swimming mechanics is actually nicely done.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Some games really messed that up.
Yeah, but no, this was good. They did that right. You can see too. It wasn't like it was a dark, whatever.
Some parts got a little dark, but it wasn't to the point that you really can't see what you're doing.
Right. And if there was a chest or whatever hidden in the water, there was like a little flashing light on all the chests, so you could see where they were and you could swim right to it. So it wasn't,
Right, and they don't punish you for staying underwater too long.
Right. Yeah, well, because you got the breathing apparatus, so you don't have to worry about coming back up to get air and come back down. But and as you're going along, BD1 gets upgraded. I don't know. He can slice open because like when you first get there, he can't open all the crates or chests or whatever you want to call them. So he has to wait till he gets upgraded, and then he can open more. It gets to a point where he can. Did you ever do where he can control one of the droids? Like you beat him down to a certain degree, and then you put on him. You can like walk around and use him to beat up the other.
Where the Empire, the battle droids. It's
like a KT droid, kind of similar.
Yes.
Look, you know what I mean?
From Rogue One.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can reprogram him and have him fight for you. I did that a few times.
Yeah. So that was cool. But my single favorite part of the game, and I texted you when it happened, and this is where you met Saw Gerrera, which I thought was funny. When you took control, you climbed the AT-AT, you took control of it, and you're clunking around in the AT-AT just blowing things up. It was so cool. And then all of a sudden, Saw Gerrera comes popping on your screen. Hey, who are you? Really? That's a weird way to meet Saw, but whatever. And then, even like it, obviously, when you're going along, you get taken out and you fall down and crash to the ground. You felt like as you're falling down and you crash your head, you felt like you were falling with them. Right. See BD go flying, you see him go rolling. So it's very intense, man. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, as someone said, the graphics on it are unreal. Yes, because it does use the Unreal Engine.
So, but no, it was a pleasant surprise. I'm glad I finally got to play that, and I just hope that Survivor is along the same lines of this one, man.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
They actually do have a book coming out as well, by one of our favorite Star Wars authors. She's also a game programmer and stuff, so she was able to do the translation from it. Well, I apologize, I didn't write down her name.
Mm-hmm.
But she did spend a lot of time, and she played the game Fallen Order first and absolutely fell in love with it. And they reached out to her and said, "Hey, how would you like to write a book in this universe?" She said, "Absolutely." It's got so it's kind of that missing link that between Fallen Order and Survivor, what's going on. So they are fleshing out this world even more, which is fantastic. I am so looking forward to what happens next. I'm a little upset because I know the band doesn't stay together in this. Things do happen, certain stuff happens. But
I think they're all in it because from the trailer you see them all, but I don't think you're traveling all together. Like stuff
does happen.
Yeah.
And people go different directions and whatnot. But
Mhm.
so supposedly there's one character you don't see in the trailer.
That's gonna. We've seen the Night Sister. You see Cal. You see BD. You see Seer, and you see what's his face? Grease, whatever his name is.
Hmm.
So, and what's her face is dead. So I don't know who I'm missing, but
I'm just saying what I heard.
what you heard? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to play it and find out.
We will. We will.
But there was like one last like little cool moment that I had was sorry if I'm rambling on and on about it, but it was just awesome. The one flashback scene that they had with his master Taro and Cal, when the young Cal and him,
Yeah.
and they were getting ready to do the training section, and then you see the clone behind him like pop up the screen, and you see the Emperor pop up, execute order 66.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? And then there's this like dual escape scene going on. You know what I mean? You're Cal running away, but his master catches up with him every so often to get out into the escape pod. Such a cool scene, man.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I was thinking the first flashback where you're on the train.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden something doesn't seem right in the train. You see somebody and you start following them, and you get to a point where you're at a door and the door won't open, and you turn around and you're on, I guess it was the Death Star or something like that. It's one of the Imperial place.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's got the Imperial architecture structures, and then you start walking through that, and you're running to the troopers, and it was so well done in the way that it worked. I'm like, why can't I open this door? Why can't I open this door? And I turn around, I'm like, oh, I'm not.
Yeah. And the one last, like, when you beat the game, if you go back in, you cannot replay the last board. But you're free to explore the planets, but that last section you cannot play again.
Right.
So you have to start the new game plus to play it through at if you at the same level or at something else in order to play through it to get to that final board again. So that's like a little, forewarning. You're gonna have to go through the whole thing again if you want to play that last section, or if you don't want to play it, just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. And the last section was really cool, and the fact that we got to see it in one of the Disney Plus series, and I won't say which one to give things away, made it, again, really cool.
Yeah. Again, we're not going to go into it, but it was what happened was unexpected, because you're going along in the game not thinking about that. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, whoa, awesome.
Where did it? What? No,
yeah.
but
this game just took a turn. Yes.
As if this game wasn't awesome enough.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you really get tied up into the story of these characters. They are very relatable.
Yes.
Very well drawn out. Particularly the side characters, some of them not as much as you maybe want, but they're still really good, nice characters with some nice story depth to them. No one has a fantastic story. Oh well, I just showed up one day and I happen to have a spaceship and everything's happy.
Right.
You get the weight of it, and again, it's Star Wars because one of the main themes of this is found family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even Seer had a good story arc of what she went through.
Yeah.
There was multiple storylines that you could follow, and all these guys, like, there was plenty of characters in it, but it was simple enough to follow through. They all had a great conjoining arc, and they knocked it out of the park with this. That's why, like, when you say it's canon or they're pushing it for canon, I can see why, because it was so well done. Why not leave it as canon?
Right. And like, she was one of the characters that I thought she was cool at first. Then I didn't trust her so much. Then I didn't like her, and then okay, she's pretty cool. So you kind of get the back and forth on her.
Yeah.
So in the like we said, the Night Sisters story
Mm.
is absolutely fantastic in my mind. Like I said,
that storyline's still wide open, you know.
yeah.
So,
And the Inquisitor and her story,
mhm,
and you get most of her story. You pretty much get everything, like
mhm,
how she started off, how she got to where she was, and the progression of everything. So you really get a good sense of who she is as a adversary,
mhm.
which it's always great whenever you understand and you understand the adversary. They're not just a adversary to have an antagonist.
Right.
You know, that there is a story behind it. There's a reason. There's a logic. There's why is this happening, and it is spelled out for you.
Mhm,
So, and the lightsaber usage is great.
mhm.
You start off with a single blade. You eventually upgrade to a double blade.
Yep.
Eventually upgrade to, you could even go double lightsaber.
Yeah, the split blade.
Yep. And so you can choose your fancy.
Absolutely, 100%. And what I did like is it kind of preferences a balance of defense and offense, because if you go straight in there trying to just hack and slash and power through them, it's not going to end well for you. You have to do some kind of evading or dodging or blocking in order to open them up for an attack, so that you can so that your attacks are so. It's one of those things where in the beginning you just want to go in there and just hack and slash, and then you realize it's not getting you anywhere, and you're like, okay, hold on, I got to reevaluate. But again, it takes like 2 seconds, and it's not that hard to do the evades or the dodge and the stuff. So you can incorporate it.
The good old Jedi trick of reflecting the laser bolt back at your enemy.
Yeah. That was fun. I had a lot of fun with that. The only guy that used to get me aggravated was the bazooka one. Because you're just sitting there, and then he fires his bomb at you. Boom! You get blasted, fall off the cliff, down the hole, and then you respawn. You're okay. Where was he at? I want him. Yes. You make sure he's the first guy that you go after.
You force pull them off the cliff.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing too, is if you die or something, the guy that takes you out takes all your whatever experience and stuff that you had. That guy takes it from you, so you have to go back and make sure you hit him to gain that experience back,
I see. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, no, that's what happens. Like, so the guy, like, if a stormtrooper takes you out, he'll start like glowing like a gold or something like that, and so when you respawn, you lost all that experience points that you had up to that point. So you go up to him, you whack him, boom, you'll get it all back. But you gotta make sure you hit that guy, or you lose all of it.
Why didn't I never noticed that?
Yeah.
And then you also got the monsters too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a lot of variety of things.
Enemies. Yeah. That pop out of nowhere. There's little mini bosses that pop up out of the blue and whoop you.
That was one thing. I correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there was the little it was a side quest where you could rescue one of those little furry animals on the first planet.
Okay.
And bring them on the ship. And occasionally you'd see that character pop up, but I don't think we ever finished out, and you never got anywhere with that.
Little furry animal. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Because that first planet was Beatty. You went out there, you rescued Beatty, and you brought him back, and then he follows you throughout the thing. But there was like seeds. It's different. There were seeds that you can get and build in the
the seed thing again as well. That's like a weird side quest that doesn't go anywhere other than I guess part of your 100%.
It gives you a trophy. Yeah. For that. Yeah.
But it was like I said, I forget their name. But on that first planet, as you're walking along, those little things that pop out of the holes and scurry across, you can rescue one of them, and they end up on your ship.
Do they really?
Yes.
I never saw that one. I'm going back in to play it now.
If you go, when you got off the ship, and there's that little, there was a pathway that I think it was like to the right or something that goes down spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
you have to have most of your abilities to be able to finish it, because it's got a puzzle thing, and you end up rescuing one of them. And I think if I remember correctly, that's the point. You rescue one of them and they scurry off and end up on your ship. And Casey said, what's that noise, or what's this? So they make reference to it, and you see it hiding underneath the table in different places at times, but nothing further comes of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. But what I do like when you land on the different planets, you, depending on when you're there or whatever, who you're bringing with, especially when you pick up the Night Sister at the end with Marin, when you bring her to the other planets, the dialogue changes. So when you get off the ship and you land, you can talk to them all, and it's a whole new different dialogue. So it's not the repetitive stuff. There's a whole new story. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much depth to the storyline. I found myself just not talking. Because I didn't want to miss anything when I was playing it. So
no, and you talk to him. You'd have to talk to him multiple times to get the full.
Right, to get the full story or whatever.
You get the whole, get everything. So you can either bypass that and miss out on the story, or you sit there, talk to him, you get one little bit, and then you talk to him, you get a little bit more, and then you talk to him the third time, they tell you to go away.
Yeah, they go, I'm busy, Cal. So, but yeah, no, it's for a simple game, it's very in depth,
Yes. So I guess that brings us to, how would you rate it out of 10?
This is high, because how much can I give it? A 9.75, only because of the map. I'll take a quarter of a point off for the map. Because everything else was good, man. It's hard to nitpick anything. The camera was good. The gameplay was good. The story was awesome. So it's really nothing.
Trolls were good.
Yeah, exactly. So there's hardly anything you could take from it.
I'm not going to match you this time.
Uh-oh. You give it a full 10?
I'm giving it the full 10. I cannot. I mean, even with the map being tricky at times, I was able to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's not like some of those games where the map just becomes completely useless.
Right.
And yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It kind of brought me back into wanting to play games again.
Mm-hmm.
So I've played other Star Wars games in the past, and a lot of them I didn't care for.
Exactly.
Except for Shadows of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only other Star Wars game that I really enjoyed. Lego one, okay, and
those are cute and stuff. Yeah,
but this one, just kind of gave me more gave me confidence again and enjoyment in playing a game with a good story, not overly complicated in anything. A lot of fun, different ways. You could tell that the programmers had fun. It's like, okay, how can we switch this up? How can we do this differently? How can we change that up? The different mechanics and how things work. You get on ice, you're slipping and sliding. Climbing things, swimming in the water.
That took some getting used to. I don't know how many times if you would jump as you're sliding and you hit the roof or something, then you fall in the crevice and you got to re-slide again.
Like, no, I thought I lined it up. You go sliding off the side. And, whoop, there I go again. Or you didn't realize that you're walking by and you went to go somewhere and you end up sliding down. You always now I have to take the elevator all the way back up.
Yep, exactly. But no, I'm with you on that, because games, it's hard to give. I'm with you too, because it's like, as I've gotten older, playing games isn't really on the priority list and stuff. But playing this
not allowed to be, no.
Yeah, exactly. but playing this brought like the little kid out in me again. It brought that life back, and I'm like, this is what video gaming should be. And I'm like, it was so good. And it's hard to give that perfect 10 rating to some things, but this one is, if it's gonna get one, this is it.
It's right. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's family friendly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And the skill sets, like, when you're battling the enemies, he's not always fighting them the same way. So you get multiple maneuvers of his by just pressing the same buttons.
Yeah.
And he will, how he takes out different characters. You're just going, wow, that was cool. How he just flips a guy up and then slashes him. And
did you ever force pull a stormtrooper to you and run him in?
Yes.
First time I realized I could do that, I was like, nice.
I think I've done that several times.
Yeah.
Remind me of the Mortal Kombat days. Come here.
Yeah, exactly. Get over here.
But not as bloody. Or he rolls over the guy's back and then smacks him with the lightsaber.
Yeah. So you're not getting the same, animatronic or whatever it is, the same cartoon animation all the time. It is a varied takeout move.
So yeah, it's so nicely done that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, and they expand on stories, and then these are worlds that either you've seen glimpses of in the other shows, you've read them in books, you knew about them, and then you get to actually see them. Some planets are new altogether, and then you go to some planets that you've known about, and now you really get to explore it a little more.
Mm-hmm.
You're not limited to what the director's showing to you in a movie. You can look around, look up, look down, walk in different places, and really get a better appreciation of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have a lot of trouble finding any fault, and not saying it is perfect, but whenever you take the metrics and you measure this out with gameplay, camera angle, enjoyability, story, graphics, character development, characters, skill tree, development of the characters. This really has all of those elements in a nice balance and a nicely put and done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Cal was for the main character, the main Jedi, he was a likable character. You could get behind him, because he's your main guy, so he's gotta pull the show, man, or your game's gonna go in the toilet. But no, he pulled it off. Great character. I would not mind seeing him in live.
I want him to show up somewhere.
Yes.
Outside of the game. I was thinking who could play him, and our friend goes, "Oh no, you just have Cameron Monaghan play him." I kept on thinking of Moynihan from Lord of the Rings.
Well, didn't his character isn't it like done off of like the actor that actually plays him?
Yes.
That's right.
Because if you look at the actor, it's him.
Oh yeah, man! Just give him a little beard. Put him on like in I don't know, the Mandalorian in the cantina on the side or something, just hiding in the cloak. That's good for me.
I almost expected him to show up in Kenobi.
Yeah, he's in that time zone. Oh, and we forgot, like when you get the holocron, when it pops open and you get Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's like, he says exactly what's on the holocron from Galaxy's Edge.
Yes,
that is awesome. So they even tie in the parks in the game.
Well, 19. This is right before the parks opened, so they were in development. Well, I guess this stuff was in development around the same time.
Right.
But it's just there's so much connective tissue that just works out brilliantly, and it doesn't go to waste.
No.
It is done with love. It is done with compassion. It is done with attention to detail, and not saying, okay, we understand this is Star Wars, but it's going to be our Star Wars.
Yes.
We're going to tell things how we want to tell it, not this is done in conjunction with Lucasfilm and Respawn and EA, who did a lot of right to the fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say if the writers of this game are given, hey, sign them up, man. Give them the rights to a movie. I would be 100% behind them.
So yeah. So anything else you have to say about the game?
If you haven't played it, go out and get it and play it because it's phenomenal.
Anything in particular you're looking forward to that you know of the upcoming game? Of
Jedi Survivor? Yeah. Again, I brought up the Rancor. I'm looking forward to fighting the Rancor. I want to see him on my TV, and I want to fight him. But no, I want to see how they I'm interested. I know, because I've seen from other trailers too, they change up the skill tree a little bit differently. So I'm just interested to see what they change on it, But I hope they don't make it hopefully it was feedback. Don't overcomplicate it. You know what I mean? Leave it. Change it, but keep it simple. You know what I mean?
I am curious because I know games in the past, sequels have committed to this sin where it is, okay, you start off, it's several years later, whatever, you don't have any of your abilities that you had before. It looks like you are keeping your abilities, but I don't want to speculate on that because I don't know until I actually play it.
Right, but I do know there's the 5 different stances or whatever they said they had. You'll have the single blade, the dual blade, the 2 blades, so you'll be able to walk around. It's not just a special move. You'll actually have the 2 blades. I think you have the Kylo Ren blade. I think they call it a longsword or something. And then there's another one where there's a blaster attached to the lightsaber or something like that. So they definitely upgraded his stances and stuff. So that's going to be cool to see. I'm assuming you're not starting right out the gate with all of them, but
I wouldn't think so. I think that would be like in this game, upgrades, because you kept on upgrading your lightsaber as you went along.
Right.
Same thing. I would presume.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's what I'm kind of looking for. The story, I don't know where they could go with the story, and to be honest, surprise me with it as I'm playing.
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to enjoy it as I go along.
Exactly. That's why I got it. I got it on pre-order. I'm going to try to play it as soon as I get it. This way, nobody, spoils it for me. Same
here. We may have to do a review. Mm-hmm. Maybe not when we finish the games because that could be a year later.
Yeah,
but once we get a little more into the game, we may have to discuss it and give you our take on Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yep.
But to switch universes, and just to make this episode a little bit longer because we've already gone over an hour. Dave, how are you doing with Doctor Who?
Doctor Who. I am on now season 4 of Doctor Who. I saw season 3 at the end of season 3 that took off. I got introduced to some cool characters because you kept saying, wait for the end of season 3. You're going to get some pinnacle episodes there, and you weren't lying. Season 4 has started. I got up to the episode with the fat loss, when they were handing up the pills with the little...
Oh, the adipose.
The adipose, that's it. I got up to that one. It's strange that what's it, Donna, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because she was in the
Christmas special.
The Christmas special, and I thought she was done. I thought she was just like a 1 episode and done girl, and then boom, she comes. Now she's that initial episode was funny though, because they're sitting there mouthing to each other. You know what I mean?
The bad guy in the middle.
Yeah, and they're like, "Are you guys done?"
It's you. No, it's you. Wait, what?
Because they kept missing each other in the beginning of the episode. They were basically right next to each other, but kept missing them. But then they see each other looking through a bathroom door and a window. So, but no, it's coming along.
I didn't want to tell you that she came back.
Yeah, and no, I'm happy she's back because, but the season 3 Christmas story was a little dark for a Christmas thing because a lot of people were dropping into that.
Yep.
The engine fire or whatever. This is a dark Christmas episode.
It's the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it's fitting. But no, I'm enjoying it. The problem is finding time to watch it, so it's gotten a little slower for me to get through them. But I don't see myself not watching it. Guys, I want to now. I'm hooked. So now I got to find out where this thing goes. And David,
season 4 is fantastic.
Yeah, and Tennant's growing on me, because again, you go from Eccleston to him. There's a little bit of an adjustment, so now I'm used to him. I like him, and I'm sure the next Doctor there's going to be another adjustment and whatnot. But
there's always the adjustment period whenever you go at the regeneration. So you're after Tennant comes Matt Smith, and there's always that curve and learning curve and adjusting to. As the actor figures out the character, as the writers figure out the characters, and you start getting adjusted to the character, the actor and the new form of storytelling and everything like that. Because when they do that, they switch showrunners and stuff. So a lot of the show kind of gets a whole new feel as well. So that takes a little adjustment, but trust me, you won't be disappointed either. I am glad that you're enjoying it. I believe you. I know you saw. Did you actually purchase?
I did not purchase it. No.
Okay, I thought you did purchase that.
No, I didn't purchase it.
He's fully on board. He has purchased his first piece of merch.
Well, because it was $15 for a little thing, and I'm like, my wife would not be happy if I spent $15 on a stuffed animal, because she wouldn't. But here's the funny part: if I didn't watch Doctor Who, because it was in a box, like under a shelf, and it was just hanging out, and I'm like, that looks like. And I picked it up and it had Doctor Who on the tag. Yeah. But had I not watched it, I would have not known what that thing was. No. And that's what's funny. I was like, oh. So, I'm starting to see things in stores that are related to Doctor Who that I would have not known at all. So that's the cool thing. But, yeah, look, at the end of season 3, I told you, I had to... binge watch them because they were just so good, and I got my interest in my wife and my daughter come in and they wanted to start talking to me, and I gave them the shush finger. I'm like, wait, 5 minutes, let this episode end, then I'll talk to you.
Your wife's gonna be yelling at me.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm not. Luckily, I have a lot more episodes, because if I was caught up, I'd be mad, because I'd be like, oh, now I gotta wait till the new season comes out. But I have a lot more to go, so I'm good. I can pace it out.
You got till November.
Right. I got plenty of time. November. Yeah. I got 7 months to catch up, so I'm good.
Well, I am glad that you made this progression now to season 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad you're still enjoying it, and it sounds like you're growing more and more into it.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm getting sucked into the universe, man. I'm starting to know the enemies, the characters, the companions, everything. And I never thought I would have known any of this, because again, Doctor Who, when I thought Doctor Who, again, like I said in one of the prior episodes, when I thought Doctor Who, I thought the Channel 13, it was like a learning show or something like that. But it's not. It's a cool little time traveling, adventure thing, and I dig it.
Adventures in time and space.
Yes.
One day you should go back. You should watch the DVD I gave you to get experience of some of the old stuff.
Some of the older stuff, yeah.
See that there is a relationship between them, especially now as you get a little bit into seasons that you have watched. Mm-hmm. But once you start going into Matt Smith stuff, they start bringing in more of the history.
Okay.
So the stuff from the classic episodes, they start pulling that in a little more, and start paying more homage to what was. So people like me who grew up, myself and Ken Deep and all those, Louis Trapani, everybody else who has grown up watching it on PBS in the past, and watched the old stuff with Tom Baker and Peter Davison and Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, William Hartnell, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy. I think I got everybody.
That's impressive, man.
That we don't want you to forget about that stuff, because the 2005 stuff forward is a continuation of the original.
Right, so you'll get the connection if they make any reference to that older stuff. You'll get the connection to it, whereas a newbie like me won't it won't hit. Like I won't go, oh, that's from that. You know what I mean?
Right. Like when K9 showed up with Sarah Jane Smith in the one season 2 episode.
Right.
School something, I think it was. You haven't watched the other stuff, you're like, who is this woman? I mean, they introduce her, they kind of give you a quick synopsis of, oh, this is and that is.
Yeah.
But for me, who grew up watching Sarah Jane Smith and K9 and Tom Baker, running around in the TARDIS saving the galaxy, it becomes so much more. It's like they're back. There's that connective tissue. There is, growing up, I loved K9. A robotic dog that shoots lasers.
Yeah. No, he was cool. I liked him, and I didn't see any of the previous stuff, obviously, but I think I remember asking you about the girl though, because I was like, is she from like the previous stuff? And you were like, yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm glad you know all this stuff because I can bounce stuff off of you to help me clear up some of the stuff that I might have missed or something, or I didn't catch up on.
She started with the Third Doctor in an episode called The Time Warrior, which is, I think, also the first Sontaran times that the Sontarans showed up, where they travel back to medieval time, and there's a Sontaran trying to take over medieval England. So, and then she stuck around. That was the last season for John Pertwee. Bring in Tom Baker. She's with the first couple seasons with Tom Baker. She sticks around for quite a while, and then leaves in an episode, Hand of Fear, I believe it is, which is an okay episode. But yeah, so she stayed around for a while. She was like the it girl for a bit, kind of like Rose.
Yeah.
For that time, again, there wasn't the relationship stuff going on. They tried to write that in that she actually did have it. No.
Speaking of Rose, she popped up again. She did a little, like, I don't know if it was the Christmas episode or the season 4 first episode. She was there because I remember you saying she comes up. She was sitting there, she was looking, and then she turned around and walked away. So I don't know why she was there, but she was there. It was Rose. You look confused, but she was there.
You're not done seeing Billy Piper.
Okay, all right.
Just leave it at that. You're not done with Billy Piper.
Okay.
So, but when you get to the episode of The Doctor's Daughter, let me know, because I have to tell you something really interesting about that.
That's season 4?
That is season 4.
Okay, I'll get there. I'm getting there.
I know you will. And just like this episode will eventually end, you will get to the end of the.
That's all good, man.
All right. Well, Dave, thank you again.
Yes.
And we'll be talking soon. Make sure to stick around for next week's episode, which may be a little special. And then we'll leave it at that.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, bud. Thank you. Thank you again, Dave, for joining us and discussing Fallen Order and what was going on at Celebration. A lot of great stuff. A lot of interesting things. I do speak for a living. Going on there. What did you think? What was your favorite announcement? And have you played Jedi Fallen Order? Let us know. Join the conversation on Facebook, facebook.com/WDMagicCast. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We are all at WD Magiccast. We have our Facebook group, which is slowly coming along, which is facebook.com/group/WD Magiccast. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find the audio version and some other treats that I have posted up there. That's at WD Magiccast as well. Leave us a voice message. Be heard on the show. You can do this through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record your own message on your smart device, your phone, your tablet, your computer, and send it electronically, email, to email at wdmagiccast.com. You could also send any questions or suggestions you may have to the show to that email address as well. Links to all these are in the show notes and on our website, which is wdmagiccast.com. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have these days and how much craziness is going on. I want to thank you so much for spending some of that time with us. We really, truly cannot thank you enough. This show is because of you that we do this. Please, if you can, share it out on social networks. Share a link to the show. Let them know that we're listening, that you're listening to it and what's going on. Also, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have all 5-star reviews on there at the moment, but we need more. Keep them coming, please. The more reviews we have, the better. They will help promote the show, and that just helps the show grow and just keeps things going on. Let your Disney friends know about the show as well. Again, by posting online, telling them in person. More people that listen to the show, the better. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Really help the show out. You can do this over at anchor.fm/WDMagicCast/support. You can also check out our merchandise shop. Get yourself some cool WD Magiccast stuff. Really help the show out this way. And you get some cool clothing in the meantime. You can find the links to all these in the show notes as well. And on the website, because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever troubles are bothering you, never give up. Be your own hero. Look deep within yourself and realize that there's a light, that there's goodness, that you are worth it. And don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. It may come from the strangest place, it may come from a stranger, or from the most unlikely source. But help will be there for you. Never give up, never give in. And let your light shine for the world to see. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. All of our inventions for mass communications, pictures still speak the most universal, understood language. And that's from Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.